Remember that girl that fought Monster Hunter bosses while blindfolded? Yeah, turns out she cheated. I know, who could have expected that?
War. War never changes. And neither does pretending to play a video game blindfolded for clout. It's a tale as old as time. And
that is so true. If there's anything that attracts attention, two things happen. One, someone does it. Two, someone tries to cheat at it.
60% of the time, it works every time. In theory, it's the perfect plan. First, cover your eyes with a thin sheet of material. Thin being the key word. I can't stress enough that if the material is too thick, you won't be able to see, which will make it very hard to play the game. Then,
you know what I found fascinating about this? That this is unironically what she did. And no one was like, is this fake? Probably no. How could she cheat at this? Bruh, has no one played tag while blindfolded when you were kids? When I was and I needed to be blindfolded, I put the thing slightly above my eyes so I could actually see what's down here. And I would just tilt my head like this because you can't even tell. And I would always be able to see where people are because I would see their legs. It was so easy. You do something like this, I'm instantaneously going to call you out a cheater. And the second tip part is, has any one of you ever seen a woman's scarf? You know, the silky ones that are really smooth and pleasant to touch? Yeah, those ones. Try putting them in front of your eyes. You can almost see right through those bad boys. So, someone doing something like this, that is 100% cheating without question, okay? She can also actually not have a see-through cloth there. She can just do what I did as a kid, and she can have a mirror that's pointing downwards, and she can just see the screen like that. That's also technically possible, even though I think that would be more effort.
Then, you pretend to do something that otherwise wouldn't take much skill. For example, beat Super Mario 64 or beat one relatively difficult boss. Once completed, and this step is also quite critical, pretend to act surprised. You really want to milk this part as much as possible. Talk about how much you can't believe it and how nervous you are. Finally, post a clip.
You know what's funny about that, honestly? It's the fact that she's actually doing a relatively good job here at trying to lie to people, because look at that. She has almost 4.2k kills of whatever that boss is, so that's kind of amazing right there. Plus, let's be absolutely real. The only reason this is a story is because she's pretty good looking, not gonna lie. She's reasonable, and her personality is right there in front of you, so 10 out of 10.
Prized. You really want to milk this part as much as possible. Talk about how much you can't believe it and how nervous you are. Finally,
I also love this nervous thing when people act like surprised. Oh my god, boys, I can't believe I did it. What is happening? Oh, look at me. I'm shaking. I can't believe this was so stressful. Bro, whenever anyone does this, that's so BS. All you need to do to fake that is, you take your arm, you jiggle it around like this, but you don't, you do it just a little bit and you kind of like jiggle it, like, and that's it. Now you're full of adrenaline, stressed, and, shaking. Oh, man. This is why scams are so easy to pull off and so prolific nowadays, because this is literally enough to actually fool people. It's crazy.
Post a clip of your achievement to the subreddit of a popular streamer, preferably one who doesn't know much about blindfolded runs and wouldn't immediately know it's obviously fake. If you're lucky, they'll watch it on stream, and if your plan has come this far...
True, look at that, has been gold. Like hell he will be able to tell that something's fake. First of all, even if he actually is able to tell that something's fake, he's most likely too coward to actually call someone out and say, oh, this looks fake.
Congratulations, you're now internet famous. Your
True.
feat will go down in history as one of the all-time greats. However, I must warn you, this plan comes with great risk. If your fake run gets too popular, it may be seen by someone who actually knows a thing or two about blindfolded speedrunning, and if they
actually don't need to know anything about blindfolded speedrunning, you just need to pay a little bit of attention. The reality is, why stuff like this actually works out is because not a lot of people actually pay attention to what's happening. They're just like, oh wow, interesting.
This happens, you're
I saw some of this gameplay. I mean, dude, I was listening to the sound because the sound was visible. I was like, there's no sound cues, there's no nothing. She just magically always is in range of the boss to actually hit him. Huh.
absolutely screwed. Now, you're internet famous for a different reason, and before you know it, obscure speedrunning channels are making videos about you, racking up millions of views. Today, we will be looking at the streamer Queen Pwnsalot, who recently faked a blindfolded takedown of the dragon Alatreon in the game Monster Hunter World. Unfortunately for Queen Pwnsalot, she didn't do her research, because what she produced was one of the most unrealistic fakes I've ever seen. In today's video, we are going to take a look at her run, and I'll explain why it's fake. And if you've
By the way, something like this is super easy to tell it's fake, but something like, I don't know, a Mario run that's spliced together is actually really hard to tell. There are, every year, pretty much a world record in some kind of old game gets proven fake because it was spliced together, which is crazy.
you've never tried to do a blindfolded run before, you'd probably miss this one crucial detail that makes her gameplay simply impossible. And while
The fact that she dodges when you need to dodge before anything happens, the fact that she runs away when an attack is coming, the fact that she runs at the guy when, it's good to run. Like, she never messes up. If you're blindfolded, you're bound to actually go in at some point where it's clearly not a good idea. But it is what it is.
While you're here, please do me a favor and subscribe. I am dangerously close to 1 million subs, and it would mean a lot. I really hope you enjoy. Now, legends, it was Valentine's Day yesterday, so naturally, me and my lovely wife went out for dinner. Anyone who knows me knows I like to have a drink, so of course, I decided to...
Oh, is this like an ad? Yeah, it's a bad ad for, what is that? Z Boutiques. What the hell is this even? Anyway, Coddle's trying to sell you snake soil, as you do with, exposed channels. That's typical. So we're gonna skip that garbage.
Anything is extremely difficult. Until you actually sit down for hours trying to do something without looking, it's almost impossible to truly understand the hurdles and problems you're going to face. This is why when someone does pretend to play without looking, it's usually immediately apparent it's not legitimate. People who don't do enough research into blindfolded runs, or who haven't really spent a lot of time doing them, don't know what is or isn't possible, and they don't know what is or isn't reasonable. One trap people can easily fall into is assuming that if you've practiced something a lot in general, that means you might be able to do it blindfolded. But this is far from true. Ask any world-class speedrunner, and they will tell you that it doesn't matter how much you practice something with your eyes open, doing it blind is a totally different beast. The streamer we are looking at today, Queen Pwnsalot, didn't understand this concept. When it comes to the game Monster Hunter, she's an expert, and she's especially good at battling the monster Alatreon, which is one of the hardest fights in the game. She has killed it over 4,500 times, and she even calls herself the Alatreon Queen. She's definitely skilled at this fight, and she assumed that because she's good at this fight, it's plausible.
I mean, considering probably not a lot of girls play Monster Hunter to begin with, it's not a hard title to honestly get. Even though, I mean, if she has actually killed this dragon like 4,000 times, that alone is kind of impressive, not gonna lie. But, it happens constantly. You know who are the people who are most likely to cheat, to fake, and do all of things like that? People who want the attention, obviously. People who see a monetary value in it and want to grift it, obviously. But then there are the people who want to be really good at the game. Because people who really, really try something and don't achieve greatness, they feel slighted, they feel cheated out, they feel that it's not their fault, they feel that everyone else is maybe just lucky or cheating or something like that. This is the reason why in Magic the Gathering, every professional is, who wins a tournament is just like 1 year away from starting cheating and then being exposed. It constantly happens, especially with things that are RNG or the skill ceiling is super high.
That she could do it blindfolded. And if she did do it blindfolded, that'd be really cool. Difficult gaming feats can get a huge amount of attention on YouTube or Reddit, so there is definitely a lot of incentive to do them. the 12th of January would be the day it happened. Queen Ponsalot had been practicing, and she was ready to blow the world away. Now, I'm going to give you a huge spoiler warning. If you don't want to know how this story ends, please stop watching now. But the big M. Night Shyamalan twist is that she can actually see through her
like this. Like look at this. Look at this.
Huge spoiler warning. If you don't want to know how this story
Yeah, you can probably hear the text, but how about this?
ends, please.
She should not have any idea here. Look at this. She tries to hit him, which is, by the way, this part could be legit if you tried really hard. But look at this, the second part.
Please stop watching now. But the big...
He just goes away instantaneously, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow." Like it's clear that she it's visible. And yes, sound cues actually can give a lot away here, but this is obviously more than just sound cues.
M. Night Shyamalan twist is that she can actually see through her blindfold. I mean, even we can see through her blindfold. When she puts it on...
I mean, I'm not looking at the blindfold, Coddle. I don't know about you, but I'm not looking at the blindfold, okay? I'm admiring the personality here.
Or takes it off, we can quite literally see straight through it. This is...
We can quite literally see her personality in the finest.
Why,
boys.
whenever you go to fake blindfold...
I mean, I don't actually care about the fact that she cheated. I care about slip. I care about the fact that I find her relatively hot, and that's why I'm honestly interested in this. I'm a simple man.
School, they teach you on day 1 never to put a light source directly behind you. When she puts the blindfold on, she does it very carefully, making sure that there is only one thin layer of fabric between her eyes and the monitor. You can even prove this to yourself by pulling your shirt over your eyes, and you'll see that you can easily see straight through it. Before she even starts playing, we already know this is fake. Her gameplay, however,
That's not bad, that's not bad.
is so unrealistic, it's shocking that anyone...
Well, he has practiced at being a clown. That's pretty good. I can juggle with one hand.
ever took this seriously.
I'm a verse clown, that's true.
Queen
But I'm
Ponsalot is a
trying.
comic book superhero. She is the living incarnation of the Marvel character Daredevil. Just by sound alone, she knows exactly where Alatreon is at all times. And going further, not only...
That's also the first Daredevil movie there is. They had I think it was Deadshot. They had a Deadshot who had this, like, a marking on the top of it. It was great. It was great.
Not only does she know where Alatreon is, she knows exactly where its head is. Normally, in blindfolded runs, people will use the lock-on feature to face enemies. With lock-on, the game automatically faces you towards the monster, so it eliminates all of the guesswork. And honestly, with lock-on, Alatreon isn't a hard fight to do blindfolded. It's been done before. But Queen Ponsalot doesn't use lock-on at all. Instead, she just freeballs the entire fight. There's a good reason she doesn't...
Yeah, look, she just instantaneously... It's... when... The worst part about this is the fact that I knew she was a cheater. And I wasn't even trying to pay attention too much, okay? It's just clear that this is way too precise.
Use lock-on actually, and that's because if she used the automatic aiming function, she wouldn't be able to target Alatreon's head, and she needs to hit the head in order to do enough damage with the weapon and strategy she's using. Queen Ponsalot claims that by using directional sound, she can locate the position of the dragon, and it's true that humans can determine the general direction a sound comes from.
Dude, back in the CS 1.6 days, oof, that sound was so good. People instantaneously assumed you were cheating if you were actually using sound.
And even to an extent, the distance. But there is a reason Daredevil is a superhero with his ability to locate things using sound.
That's the guy. Look at him. He's... I think that's Deadshot. I think that is Deadshot, or if it's not, I have no idea who this is supposed to be.
It's because humans can't do that effectively or reliably.
Yeah, bro, that was one hell of a bad movie, bro.
Aren't bats or dolphins. When it comes to blindfolded gaming, this has been tried and tested for decades. It's simply not possible, and no one can do it. Blindfolded gamers do not rely upon sound in this way. They always use consistent setups or automatic aiming functions. It would be difficult enough using real sound in the real world, let alone the less precise inputs from a video game played through headphones. And yet, what's super interesting is that the true extent of...
I will actually argue one thing. Monster Hunter is not actually a hot game. Monster Hunter is like the Dark Souls light experience of the Dark Souls franchise, okay? There's so much time. Okay? Monster Hunter doesn't have fast attacks. I'm pretty sure there's no boss that actually does fast attacks. I haven't played the game, but I have seen enough to tell that, yeah, it's not really that hard because the wind-up time for actual attacks is really, really long. So, if someone used that sound and dodged, I would believe that, but the dodging would look like this. Oh, you hear a sound, well, you start running in a, direction, line, or whatever, and then at some point you start doing multiple dodges in a row. That's how a legit blindfold run would look at this if it was, based on sound. But, again,
just how unfeasible this task is will be lost on 99% of viewers. Many people instinctively know that humans can't pinpoint things using sound in this way, but they do know that it's theoretically possible to have some idea about what's going on. We know that if we hear something in our left ear more than our right ear, we know the sound is coming from the left. So when we watch this gameplay, it obviously looks unrealistic, but we can understand why someone might think it's possible to do. But there is something far more egregious going on.
Again, no, it is 100% possible to do to a certain extent, but not even close. Not even close to what she is doing, okay? You can generally tell that you're not facing the monster, probably, if you're using surround sound for this with a headset. But man, it's not even close what she is doing, okay? Again, you wouldn't even be performing like a 1/100 as well as her if you legitimately try to judge things by sound. And again, if you're judging things by sound, the fact that you can instantaneously move your character 360 and be exactly on them is probably the first giveaway in this case, honestly, because you would not be able to pinpoint that with sound. I think that's what he's actually referring to when Coddle is talking about this, because you can kind of vaguely understand a lot with sound attacks, because most attacks probably have a specific sound and you learn to distinguish them if you're actually trying, but it's not that precise. You can't just instantaneously turn and be 100% towards your enemy. You will miss, you will overshoot or undershoot, and then you will have to readjust.
Going on here in this gameplay that almost everyone will miss, and it's hidden in plain sight. While everyone is debating the feasibility of locating where the monster is using sound, Queen Ponzalot is doing something far more impossible that you probably didn't even consider. I'm going to show you some clips and try to identify what the problem is.
Pitch perfect dodging. I told you at the start. You can't. There's no way. Yeah, see? I don't think there was even a sound for that. Also, a lot of these sounds are way too actually similar. So so the idea that she can hear the sound, like, it's a dragon. It's gonna do a lot of roar, roar, ah. Only some very specific attacks will sound distinctively different. She would have to train so much to actually understand the difference between this. So the fact that he does a roar, and then she knows to move to the left, and then he does another roar, and then she knows to move to the other side, is bullshit. It's impossible, essentially.
I've selected some extreme examples here to highlight what's going on, but it's important to know that Queen Ponzalot is doing this constantly at all times, to some extent, probably without even realizing it. In the clips I showed, she entered the menu to use an item, and in doing so, accidentally tilted the camera to face upwards. She doesn't always tilt the camera when using items, but in these particular cases, she did. Immediately after exiting the menu, she fixes the camera, moving it back to a more neutral position. This isn't something that is specific to her blindfolded runs either. This is a habit that she has even when she can see. It's so
I don't even know what that means.
habitual that she kept doing it blindfolded, not realizing that you need to see in order to know you've done this. This is a problem, because there is no reliable audio cue that tells you where you're facing on the vertical axis. Why did she know she was facing up? How did she know how much she was facing up? How did she fix her camera perfectly and so quickly? How is she able to do this over and over and over again? The fact that you can't tell whether you're looking up or down actually ends up being a bigger problem than locating the enemy.
Huh. I assume the camera in this game is kinda locked to a certain degree.
On the horizontal axis. There is no reason or mechanism that explains why she's able to keep the camera in a neutral vertical position the entire fight. You can easily test this yourself. Jump into a game and close your eyes. Then randomly scramble the camera position. Then try to use the audio cues to get your vertical alignment back to neutral. Open your eyes and see how close you were. You'll find that you can't do this reliably, if at all. If you do manage to do this 1,000 times in a row, like Queen Pwns a lot, congratulations, you are a literal superhero. Again, this is a problem that has been faced before, and anyone who has or will ever try to do this will always end up looking at the floor or looking straight up. There is
I have seen that in other games too.
way to center the camera and put it back to neutral by pressing a button, similar to pressing Z in Ocarina of Time, but Queen Pwns a lot never uses this, and always moves the camera with her mouse. I'm guessing she was so focused on trying to make her horizontal movement believable that she never even considered the vertical movement and just did it without thinking, but it's flat out impossible. The irony is that when using the greatsword, looking up or down achieves nothing. It doesn't let you hit higher, and it doesn't change your weapon range. The only reason to keep the camera in a
But it does change how much you are enjoying the moment that you are in. That matters a lot.
Neutral position would be to keep the enemy on screen, which is pointless if you're blindfolded. If you were interested in keeping the camera in a neutral position, you can simply turn off the ability to look up or down in the game settings, which is probably a good idea if you're running this blindfolded. But of course, Queen Pwns a lot doesn't do this, and just magically knows where she is looking at all times. After she did her solo effort, about a week later, she would don the blindfold again, and this time beat Alatreon in a 4v1 group.
I guess this is a far easier and simpler explanation than what I was saying. True?
Attempt. This one didn't go up on her YouTube channel and wasn't shared around, so you probably didn't hear about it, but it's even more insane. Now she has 3 other team members all making sounds too, but she's able to perfectly distinguish the dragon's sounds and know its location without any problems. Her hearing is so good, in fact, that she can even tell who the dragon is targeting with its attacks. Take this sequence for example. She expertly dodges this attack when Alatreon swipes at her, an attack that doesn't even have a sound cue you can use to know it's coming. But when it turns to attack...
Yeah, he showed this in the clips that he selected, by the way. And that was my raw example, because we heard the sounds and there was no fucking sound for the swipe.
The other players, she doesn't dodge at all and even knows where the attack is going. She follows it perfectly with her camera as it's happening. She's good, man. She's
as long as mommy has a whiff, I think it's all good.
Real good. And she can even play like this with other monsters too. So this isn't just her being really good with Alatreon, she can do this against any opponent. She legitimately has a superpower, and scientists need to study this woman's hearing as soon as possible. On the 2nd of February, Queen Pwns a lot posted the clip of her first Alatreon blindfolded victory to her YouTube channel. A couple of days later, one of her fans posted it to the Asmongold subreddit, at which time one of her Discord moderators...
Bro, that was probably not even a fan, that was probably her just doing that. I mean, if... It makes sense, because think about it. You're already cheating this to get extra attention and fame. Why not try everything? It makes sense, right?
Tagged everyone in her Discord, telling them to upvote the post. This message is amazing. Attention everyone. This...
Wait, what is this? Oh, that's her. I thought that he said that's an Asmongold mod. Okay.
Is a call to arms. Our queen needs you to go and upvote the video so that Asmongold watches it. Comment on it. Sing her...
That's just basic human shit.
Her praises. Show her how much we support her. There will be many who doubt her legitimacy, but her army watched her make history live. Do your queen proud. Comment, like, share, and raise her up. This is huge. Queen's army, we march on. Shockingly,
LOL.
This worked, and Asmongold did in fact...
Wait, what's shocking about that?
on stream and even posted a VOD of his reaction to his YouTube channel.
I mean, listen, is it really hard to believe that somebody couldn't pull this off after 4,000 kills? I bet.
By the way, if I was faking this, I would also insert some kind of huge kill number. Again, it's like, you know, you just add this for legitimacy, and as you can see, as you can clearly see, it works wonders.
This is real.
Oh, Asmongold, you beautiful soul. You innocent, naive, ignorant, beautiful soul. This ended...
Yes, he effectively called him autistic without calling him autistic. That's passive-aggressive, Carl. Please.
up backfiring,
Toxic,
as now
even.
that the clip was somewhat popular, people who actually knew how to play the game saw the clip and instantly realized it was ridiculous. The gamer Juzzy would then post a video highlighting all of the
I saw this. I got recommended this, by the way, in my YouTube recommended page. Didn't watch it, though.
ways the gameplay was obviously fake. Asmongold would then react to this video, and ultimately
I
he
saw that Asmongold also reacted to this.
concluded that maybe she could see through the blindfold.
I think this is what the blindfold did. I think that it obscured 95% or 90%.
Oh, I should actually see. I love how while everything is good, he's like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then it's a cheat. This is what I think actually happened. Oh, the grift is real.
Of her vision, it did not completely obscure it, which allowed her to use the tiny little pixels that, you know, equivalent
Tiny
of
little
that she
pixel.
can see that are giving her indicators of where the boss is. So she sees the guy's arm and it's like this, and she knows, okay, well,
Nah, this is not even close. It would be so much
the
better.
head's gonna be here.
Asmongold, I think you might be onto something. World-class blindfolded speedrunner Bubsia would also chime in, also declaring that her run was faked. Queen Ponzelot would not take these criticisms lying down, nor would her moderators, accusing people who doubted her as just being incels who lived in their mother's basement.
Classic, by the way, classic. I mean, her next move, by the way, is obviously playing the I'm a woman card, and this only is happening because I got big fat mommy milkers. True, by the way, absolutely true, my queen. Anyway. Anyway, I think that's the move, because we have seen this playbook happen a million times with women on Twitch. Cheat, get exposed, have no comeback, because even your 5 IQ takes can understand that there's no way to prove that you didn't cheat or do anything, and it instantaneously becomes yes, sexism. There we go. That's the solution to everything. And then after 3 months, you give up and make OF because the money has dried up. It is what it is, boys.
She uploaded a video claiming that she was the victim of slander and malice. She was adamant that
One-
she really was
One step away. One step away.
devil, and really did
Wait, how old is this video? 14 hours. Okay, maybe nothing has changed. But again, the more attention she gets, the sooner she's gonna say, I'm a woman, and it's only happening because toxic female Pokemon saved me. You were right about Twitch, essentially. It's gonna be amazing.
possess superhuman hearing and the ability to know where she's looking based on nothing. She advertised an upcoming stream where she declared she was going to prove everyone wrong. When I saw this video and I saw how confident Queen Ponzelot and her army was in the face of the
I also heard that the eye tracker actually even picked up her eyes while she was blindfolded also, which is hilarious. That even happened at parts? Multiple parts, in fact.
these accusations, I started second guessing myself. Could everything I know about human anatomy or blindfolded gaming be wrong? Could the thousands of gamers who have dedicated themselves to blindfolded speedruns have missed something so simple? Maybe.
I mean, okay, to be fair, to be absolutely fair, it's unlikely, but this is something that never lets me rest about things like this. Because the truth is, at some point there's gonna be some kind of ultimate level prodigy that is just gonna go into a game and completely be absolutely 100% unstoppable, and no one will ever be capable of doing anything against him. And they're going to be labeled a cheater because they will be just so much above the currently existing, even the top 0.0001% of the player base. It's not even going to be funny. Those things happen. They're, it's what have they called it? Called, I think there's a name for this, statistic. No, it's not statistic anomaly, something else. But a great example of this is because shit like that happens, by the way, constantly in the world. This is not a direct example. This is this is also a fun example. If you went to school and passed to 5th grade, you maybe actually have heard of this, but it's just statistics and probability. If you have a room with 30 people inside of it, what do you think is the chance that 2 people are sharing the same birthday, month, day? Classic stuff, right? People would say, if you're a reasonable person, you probably say, oh, wow, very, very little. It's like 1 in 300 whatever, and 1 in 300 whatever, and you have 30 shots at this. That's not that much, But then you actually see all the reasoning behind this, and I don't remember the probability, but it's roughly something above 50%. Yeah, if you take random 30 people and put them into a room, there's something like a 50% plus probability that 2 of them are gonna share a birthday. It's crazy. You would never think that's correct, but when you actually hear the statistical explanation for this, and it gets even visualized, suddenly you're like, oh my god, and shit like this happens constantly.
Maybe it was possible to just use your ears and play like normal. Maybe everyone had been doing it wrong the entire time.
True.
I was ready to have my entire universe blown to pieces. Honestly, I thought she was going...
Yeah! That's what I'm talking! Woo! Look at it! Yeah! See? I knew I picked the right video to care about. For all the right reasons.
To back out. But just like she said...
This woman's personality is amazing.
On the 14th of February, she went live. This time she had a new blindfold. But before she started playing, she wanted to prove that the blindfold she was using before wasn't transparent. She used a powerful...
It's probably not the same blindfold.
...torch to show that no light was getting through. But wait a minute, this blindfold isn't the same. She's...
Who would have... Seriously, if you were not capable of guessing it's not the same blindfold, you are probably paying more attention to her personality than I am.
Changed it. This is what it was like before. Now it's been folded up. And you can even see the seam lines where she has obviously sewn it together, and probably sewn some kind of material on the inside.
Hey, mommy knows how to sew? Bruh, that's rare.
The YouTuber Abisoft, who was there...
Well, I also know how to sew. It's actually super simple. It's like the people who say, oh, no one taught me how to cook. Bro, it's not rocket science, okay? You just cook. It's really not that complicated. So is sewing, by the way.
Asked her to unfold the blindfold, which is what it was like when she used it before, but she refused and timed him out from the chat. Even before doing this new attempt, she was gaslighting, avoiding questions, and banning people who were raising legitimate concerns. It's clear as day she is a
sexist concerns, okay? Let's be completely on point here.
Very dishonest person who is willing to tamper with evidence and trick people. However, while she is a dirty liar and her pants are surely on fire, she is also a magician. Her most recent attempt was amazing. She went on to beat Alatreon again with a proper blindfold on, and with paper covering
Okay, now this is better. You see what I mean? If she, look at this. Look at the dodges.
Her most recent attempt was amazing.
Look.
She went on to beat Alatreon again.
Okay, see, if you were playing on sound, you would never be just running in a direction and dodging once. You would be spastically running and dodging as much as possible until you know that attack has run out.
With a proper blind...
And it would look like this.
...fold on. And with...
Yeah, just constantly pressing the dodge button like there's no tomorrow. That's how it would look.
...paper covering her screen.
That's a very good dodge, as we can already tell. Nice. Mommy. Woo!
It was so convincing that once again, the opinion of the most important person in the world, Asmongold, had been changed.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Altreon blindfold kill was actually real. It did actually happen.
But does that mean she wasn't cheating? No, it
Hell no. This could have been a recording, by the way. Just saying, this could have been a recording.
doesn't. There were many obvious signs she was still cheating.
Like, look at this. Oh, actually, yeah. Look at this. She has a paper in front. Yeah, that's when you play the video.
And all of the issues with the vertical aiming still exist, and are even amplified to the extreme. Plus, there were some really bizarre things that were going on as well. But in order to do this,
It doesn't look like the input's following what she's doing, right?
still exist,
Look.
and are even amplified
Okay.
to the
Oh, she's using something in the shop, in the menu?
extreme. Plus, there were some really bizarre things that were going on as well. But in order to do
No, it kind of looked okay.
this most recent attempt justice, we are going to need an entire video, because this rabbit hole is
Hell yeah! Grill mommy!
deep. Queen
Nice.
Lancelot thinks she is sneaky enough to get by me, but unfortunately for her, I see everything. So ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars for February 29, and we'll find out if Queen
Oh, Coddle, don't give me dates. I don't even know what year currently is. I know it's the year of our Lord, NOF, or probably something like that. Anyway, this was Quizzer Citizen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.